Good morning. Hi everybody, it's Rachel from Sage Beauty. How are you today? This is a get ready with me talking about some makeup goals for 2024. So I'm just going to briefly go through the products with you. It's a hair mask. As usual, I haven't combed my hair whilst it's wet. I've cleansed my face in the shower. I'm using one of my favourite toners, the Isntree Rice toner, to cleanse, to finish cleansing. So then I'm using one of my favourite eye creams, the jojoba Firmin eye balm, which is fantastic, an Australian brand and a wonderful product which I have used many tubes of and I use on clients as well, and everybody loves it. This is new to me. The Embryolisse Rose Cream. As you can see, it's quite pigmented. I wasn't expecting it to be quite so dark, so I'm just going in with a very light hand because this is literally my first use of it. So I don't really know how it's going to look, but I know that it's going to be moisturising because I have used the Embryolisse primer, the one in the white tube, for several years in my makeup kit, and it is an excellent moisturiser / primer. So this is supposed to be more of a colour correcting cream, but anyway, it feels nice. It's doing all the things it should do. Now my normal sunscreen these days is the Isntree Hyaluronic Acid Watery Sun Gel. You can see I'm showing you how many fingers worth of cream I use on my face, my neck, my ears, and the décolletage, and around my eyes. I can use this one around my eyes. There's not many sunscreens that I can do that with. Finally, my skin prep is the arms, sunscreen on the arms. My favourite sunscreen, body sunscreen, is Cancer Council, which is an Australian product. Kids sunscreen, it's great because it's not sticky. And I've put that all over my arms. I put a little bit more of the Isntree one on my lips because I didn't quite get the lips properly. So now I'm just grooming my brows, doing my usual routine there with the Schwarzkopf Got To Be gel, and then the Barry M brow pen, feather brow pen, which I love, in ash brown. So I'm just going to start talking about what I plan to do with my makeup goals for 2024 and this channel in particular. And I am intending to start a low buy, possibly even a no buy. So my stipulations for the no buy will be if Natasha Denona brings out another midi palette that I like, then I will buy that. So that will be the only eyeshadow I purchase next year, I've decided. Just going in with my MAC paint pot for my eyeshadow base as usual, and I apply this with my fingers. In fact, most of the Complexion products I apply with my fingers at the moment. So yeah, so the eyeshadow palette that I will buy, if any, will be from Natasha Denona, and it will be a midi if she brings one out that I really like. Now, given that she's brought out two this year that I really like, there's a good chance that there'll be one next year that I quite like. So her formula is my favourite. What can I say? Here is the much maligned Subculture palette from ABH. Now, a lot of people hate this palette. They say it's chalky, it's dry, the colour story is weird, the formula of the shadows isn't great, but I've never found that. I mean, admittedly, I haven't used the really grungy shades that often. I have tended to stay in the more neutral tones with the peach and the peachy tones and the yellow tones, whereas the really grungy green and the really grungy purple I haven't used a lot except as eyeliner, and so therefore I haven't really found them to be problematic in terms of patchiness. So I'm using the shade Dawn there, which as you can see is an excellent match for my skin tone. And now I'm going to go in with Fudge, which is a fantastic mid-tone brown, matte again, and I'm just stamping it on. Now I've got this flatter fluffy brush that is quite long, and the bristles are quite long, and this is a really good brush to apply the makeup with, the mattes with. So just very small motions there in the outer corner. Now there might be a tiny bit of patchiness here, but it blends out very well, I think, and it doesn't take me very long at all to get the look. So I'm just going backwards and forwards between the two eyelids because I always try to get balance. So I go back on the other side of the brush with the Dawn shade and just start to buff the edges there a little bit with that original neutral shade, skin tone shade. So one of the goals that I have for makeup in 2024 is to hit pan on at least one shadow in each of my palettes. Now, that's going to be really tough, but I'd like to try if I can. And in this palette, it won't be too hard because it is one of my oldest palettes, and I think I'll probably hit pan on Dawn or Fudge or Vision or Electric fairly soon because I do use those shades a lot. Now I'm going in with Vision, which is a duochrome, and it looks white in the pan, it looks white on my finger, but there is a pink shift and there was a bit of fallout there. I got too much on my finger. Now it is quite a buttery smooth shimmer formula. It's not super sparkly. I can't remember whether it was. Over the years it may have dulled a little, but for this look I think it worked really well, and I'm going for a pink look overall. So I didn't want it to be pink, too pink. I wanted it to be a bit more subtle. You can see the pink is starting to show through on my eyelids there. I'm taking it right out over the matte brown as well so that there's that dimensional quality. And then I'm just buffing the matte brown back across the edge so that there's no harsh lines. Now I'm finding more and more that with my brow bone dropping with age, I'm tapping, showing you there what I'm talking about, I have to really make sure that my matte shades are blended in the same spots, even if the brow bone is higher on one side than the other. Yep, my usual eyebrow routine, as you know, I discussed that before. I've discussed it many times. So hitting pan in each of my palettes, that is going to be tough. I'm pretty sure I can do it with this palette. I'm pretty sure I can do it with my BH List Miss Claus palette. I'm pretty sure I can do it with Natasha Denona Glam palette and the Yucca palette and maybe even my brand new I Need a Nude. But as for some of my other palettes, it's going to be really, really tough. But I'm going to try, and I will be doing a video showing where I'm at right now with my palettes. I have so many, so this is going to be tricky to do, but I will try to do it in the new year and show you how much use I have on my palettes currently and how much I will need to use. You'll get an idea of how much I need to use those shades to hit pan. So that's a big goal for me, is to hit pan on at least one shadow in each of my however many palettes I have, which is a lot. I haven't counted them for a while, so I will do that first of all as well. So I did my other brow off camera because, you know, watching a person do their brows is not particularly riveting, I don't think. And I'm using the Fenty Flyliner eyeliner pen, which I absolutely love. This is a fantastic product and it's so easy to use. At first I wasn't sure. I found it quite wet formula, but after about a week it's just been perfect ever since. And it lasts. This pen is huge. It will last me a long, long time, unlike many budget ones. And really, if you think about the amount of use you get out of a product like this compared to a drugstore or pharmacy brand or, you know, supermarket brand, you're probably better off because you get a lot more uses per dollar than you do with one of the more budget products. And this brown is unique. That's the other thing. You just don't see this mid-tone, warmer leaning brown very often. Now this is my twitchy eye that I'm trying to put the makeup on here. This one is twitchy. I have trouble with this one now. So that's one of my goals. So my no buy stipulation for eyeshadow is it has to be Natasha Denona, it has to be a midi, and I want to hit pan on at least one eyeshadow in each of my many palettes. Okay, that's eyeshadow. Now for other makeup goals, I am finding that I'm excuse me, I'm just not loving cream complexion products as much as I thought I would. That's not to say I don't use them. Yes, I do use them. When I mean cream, I don't mean foundations. I mean colour products, colour makeup. So blushes and bronzers and contours. I'm just not using them as much as I thought I would. And so when I don't reach for them, I prefer to reach for the powders. I prefer to reach for a powder bronzer. I much prefer to reach for a powder blush. And I'm not sure that I really need a cream base. The only time I might need that for myself is when I'm filming because, you know, the lighting that I use and the camera is somewhat sucking colour out of my face. So for photographic reasons, cream products make sense. But for everyday makeup, it doesn't really make that much sense to me. And because I set my makeup well with setting powder, setting spray, I use setting spray between the layers of makeup as well, I really don't think I need that many cream products. So I'm going to do a bit of a review, a bit of a look through my cream colour complexion product section of my trolley and think about which ones I would replace, if any. I think the only one I would really be looking to replace is the Huda Beauty Tan Tour in Fair, which is that pan cream product in a pan that I really love, and I have hit pan on this year, and I will finish it next year. But after I've done that, after I've finished with that, I'm then going to focus on using up some of my other bronzing sticks and the poofy ones and things like that. That's the other thing that I found. I'm just not loving the puffy or poofy dispensers on the end of those wands. I find them incredibly messy, and I'm never quite sure whether it's open or closed. And I take the lid off and there's the lid is full of product because, you know, I haven't closed it properly or something like that has happened. So the component is also a factor in my decision here. So as much as I love the shade of the Mcobeauty wands, the blush ones, the highlighter ones, and the bronzer, I'm just not a fan of the way they're presented. And so therefore I would never buy the Charlotte Tilbury ones either, or the e.l.f. ones, or any other brand that comes out with them, because I'm finding those ends, those dispensers, really irritating. and messy, and I'm just not a mess. I just hate mess so much. Anyway, even though I live on a farm, but anyway, that's how I feel, and I want to keep my makeup collection clean and tidy as much as I can, even though I'm in it every day. So I've just put my complexion base on. I've used the GRWM fresh face foundation, which I love. That's in the light medium shade. And then I've gone in with my most used concealer for this year, the Natasha Denona hy-glam in the neutral shade. I think it's 4 neutral or 3 neutral or something like that. I have actually just done a recent declutter of a couple more concealers because I just wasn't using them. I'm using either this brand, the Natasha Denona hy-glam, or the Huda Beauty faux filter, and that's pretty much it. So I got rid of a couple of concealers which I'm just not using, and there's no point keeping them, and one of them was kind of old, and one of them had already been had only just been saved from my last declutter, so it was already in my sights, I suppose. Now this is the Kosas Cloud Setting Powder in Feathery, and I'm using it with the Mcobeauty Velvet Puff, which I really like. I recently bought a pack of 4 minis of this in the 40% off sale at Big W, and I really like them. And as you can see, the powder with the puff gives me a very blurred matte finish, especially the under eye. This is a great powder. Is it my favourite? I think I still like the LYS one better, and also I like the price of the LYS one much better. And I intend to hit pan and probably finish this powder easily in 2024, because the first one of them I had, once I hit pan on it, it just seemed to go. Like the pan just seemed to open up faster and faster. And I'm anticipating that this one will be exactly the same. Just a little bit of cleanup there from the mascara. I'm about to go in with some eyeliner. This is fairly new to me, the LA Girl Baby Pink, just to do the waterline. Yes, I know it's already quite pink there, but this brightens just a wee bit. It has a white base to it, so it has a slight brightening effect instead of highlighting the redness of that area. That's why I bought it. And also it goes with this eye look particularly well, I think. What else have I got in mind? So not replacing cream products, cream complexion colour products. I am thinking I also might I'm just lining my lips here, just lining my lips here with the Revlon Colour Stay lip liner, and it really does stay on, believe me. In the, well, it's a fuchsia pink, I think it's called fuchsia. And I'm just pointing out there on my lip that I've got a freckle that's appearing, and it's getting a little darker. So I am tending to get that checked out when I see my doctor in about 2 weeks' time. And up there I found a black hair. Menopause. Woohoo! Yay! So you can bet that I tweezed that one out as soon as I could. Now this is the Essence High Shine lip gloss in the pink. One of my most favourite lip gloss formulas. I just love it. I wear it a lot. And sadly I had to get rid of the Milky Way one, which was the clearish whitish one, the other day because it had gone off. It smelt funny and tasted funny. This one's still fine, and it's just the most glorious colour, and it does have some tint to it, and it goes perfectly with the lip liner. So I actually wanted the lip liner to be quite 90s like in terms of visible, and just fill in the lips with the gloss. Later on in the day, though, I went over the whole lip with the lip liner. So here is a face palette that I've come to really enjoy from Mellow. The bronzer in this palette is far more pigmented than the bronzer in the small pan, which is interesting to me. They have used a different formula, and I think this shade is slightly warmer. So I will be using this one in the summer, and I'll go back to the Bronze Goddess one for the cooler months because that's when my skin is lighter. And that is a product that I will finish, I know, because I went through my first of it very quickly because it's quite a small pan. So I think that will be quite easy to hit pan on, if not finish next year. I'd really like to try and hit pan on my Milani Luminoso, which is probably my favourite blush of all time. Who knows? They're big pans, those Milani baked products, and I have several of them. So my makeup goals are not massive. There's not very many of them, but definitely the most challenging will be hitting pan in the eyeshadows and trying not to buy a lot of eyeshadow like I always do, because eyeshadow is my most favourite thing in makeup. I've decided. I love foundations too, but I tend to find a foundation that I like and I repeat purchase with that, like the LYS, the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear, and the True Match, and the Bobbi Brown, and I will probably buy this Barry M one again because it's beautiful and very reasonably priced. And my mature skin seems to love it because it's got more of a tinted moisturizer effect. So it's not too pigmented on my face. So this is a beautiful, I reckon I can hit pan in this one. This is the Natasha Denona Mini Blush Duo. I absolutely love this. I take this traveling with me. I can see quite a dip in this in both pans, and I think I could probably hit pan in at least one of them, probably the blush before the highlighter, because how often do I use highlighter? To be honest, on a day-to-day, I don't usually wear highlighter, but I nearly always wear blush. So, and the tone of this blush is stunning. It reminds me of that NARS one, actually, because it's got a peach shift to it. So on camera here, I love to use highlighter because I think it looks so good on film. In real life, I love it too, but I don't use it as much. I just don't feel I need to. I think I can also finish this little guy. This is a setting spray. You know how much setting spray I use. If you watch my last video, you'll know. There's the finished look after I did my hair. And I hope you enjoyed this video and this chat. Thank you so much for watching. It's just wonderful that you have been following my channel, and I truly appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.